Now Wednesday, that is yesterday, marked a losing session for the Wall Street, with the S&P 500 snapping its 3-day win streak, and so did the Nasdaq Composite. But these moves were slight, not major ones. Now the broad market index fell about 0.3%, whereas the tech-heavy Nasdaq that dropped about 0.5%. Dow Jones Industrial Average was flat. Now, while the day's losses put the S&P 500 a bit further away from reaching a new record high, the index is also still just more than 2% below its late February record. Now, those moves come after consumer prices in the US rose less than expected in May, as the consumer price index increased only 0.1% for the month. Now, that's less than the Dow Jones forecast of 0.2%. Core CPI, which excludes food and energy prices, also increased less than expected. Now, investors are looking ahead to May's reading of the producer price index that is due later today. And the street is also waiting for more developments, that is the final details, especially between the trade talks, about the trade talks between US and China, as the talks between these two countries have been a focal point this week. Now, while officials have reached an agreement in London, the deal still awaits approval from US President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping. Meanwhile, US's Besant has hinted at openness to shift the tariff deadline as well. But how are these statements and the tensions in the Middle East impacting the crude prices, Ankur?
Crude oil is on fire. In fact, crude oil gained after jumping almost 5% on Wednesday on spiking tensions in Middle East, with Iran threatening to strike US bases in the region if talks over nuclear program fall through. And its attack, the WTI actually rallied as much as 1.5% to top $68, while Brent settled near $69. US ordered some staff to depart embassy in Iraq and allowed military service members and family to leave the Middle East. Separately, UK Navy also warned that higher tensions could affect shipping in the region. This also impacted not only Brent but also gold. Gold has actually risen for the second consecutive day to settle around 3.20, and apart from that, yields have also come up at 4.4%.
That's right. Let's also take a look at all the events we should be watching out for in today. Now, some key data points there. In India, we'll have the CPI index data coming out today. It's also the weekly Nifty expiry, so we'll be watching out for that. In the US, we have PPI as well as jobless claims data that's going to come out later in the day. In the UK, industrial production data and also trade data is something that we'll be watching out for. In terms of corporate action back home, Canara Bank is expected to mull fundraising, whereas Bank of Baroda is to revise its MCLR rate. It's also the last day to buy shares to be eligible for a dividend when it comes to Canara Bank, ACC, JM Financial, Piramal Enterprises, PFC, Adani Enterprises, Adani Ports, Adani Total Gas, Ambuja as well. Now, in terms of other events, we have the auction of 30-year treasuries later today, and apart from that, Toyota shareholder meeting is also due later today. So we'll be watching out for the key takeaways from there.
So let's kickstart the show with some global headlines tracking this morning.